I'll go ahead and just a couple things before we open up for questions. Boy, really proud once again of this team with the effort that we're seeing on Saturday. And we go back and we watched, obviously all three phases, and these guys are playing awfully hard. And we got a lot of guys that are getting opportunities to play, whether it be for injuries or just for needed depth, that are really making the most of their playing time. Like Huggins, Darius Huggins is a guy that comes to mind. Guys like that. There's been a pleasure to see step up when we needed them to step up, but guys are playing awfully hard. We continue to see tangible progress in a ton of areas. One being defense, where we held a team averaging 30 a game to 17 points in the regulation, which should be enough to win that football game in the regulation. Special teams, Stephen Coots had a phenomenal night. Our punt team is #1 in the Sun Belt Conference. We're averaging about 40, 44, 45 yards net punting. And then Steve Yartig just continues to be on a roll. I thought he was phenomenal. Even after we had the 5-yard penalty, backed it up to 47. He steps up cool as a cucumber, nails that kick to tie the game. The guy's just playing really well. Should never got down to the last one that he missed, so I don't fault him for that. He played really well. He has been now he's already up to 10 out of 13 on the year on field goals, which is way too many field goals, but he's doing his job when called upon, so that's been a huge plus. Offensively, if you can take away the turnovers, we'd have a different looking offense, and everybody in this room and everybody in our building would be feeling much better today if we could win a turnover battle. The last 2 weeks, we have not won a turnover battle, and we have not won the games. And we've almost overcome it both times. Both times, we have not won a turnover battle, and we've taken both teams to overtime, considering that we've had 5 turnovers in the last 2 games. So that tells me that if we can eliminate that, you'd probably see one heck of a football team. And I think that's the thing that gives our kids confidence. They know that we're playing awfully well in a lot of areas. But if we're going to be successful, we've got to take care of the ball. Defensively, we got 2 big turnovers the other night. We knocked out 2 balls trying to win the game there at the end, and one it rolled in the end zone. They recovered it. But just for the defense to get the ball out at that time in the game, what an effort by those guys, laying it all on the line to try to stay in the game and extend the game. So that's the #1 point of emphasis is our football team, is to make sure that, first 2 games of the year, we had 0 turnovers, 8 straight quarters. And then since then, we've had 7 turnovers in the last 3 games, 5 in the last 2. And that's making it awfully hard. That's what we used to call paddling upstream. And so that makes it a little more difficult. So, but we're going to fix that part of it. We're excited about moving forward. Our team is excited about moving forward. All our goals are still ahead of us. And by no stretch are these guys not motivated to come over here today and get ready to roll and as we move forward, because we know that we've got a lot of football ahead of us, and if we can correct that, just that one thing, we're going to have some outstanding times ahead. A couple things to note. As bad as I hate to announce this, it breaks my heart to let you know that Jalen Nixon has played his final game as a Raging Cajun. His ankle was broken, and he will not be able to play the rest of the season. The guy came in and was a warrior there in the second half and in the overtime, and wheeled his team back to tie the game up. The guy played on every special teams on the team. The most unselfish player that we have had here, as a player that would do whatever is asked of him. I'm hoping one day that he can be a coach for me one day. I'm going to try to get him to stay on as a coach one day, maybe as a graduate assistant in the future. He is one outstanding Raging Cajun, and I want him to remain close to this program. But what a job he did coming in and moving the team down the field, and just phenomenal effort. Also, Ladarius Kidd will not be able to return the rest of the season either. He also has a broken ankle, and both of those will require surgery, and so he will start his rehab and all that as soon as surgery is over. So a little bit of a blow there, but we've got some guys that will be willing to step up. Unfortunately, that's a game of football. That'll be somebody else's opportunity. We'll have to make some adjustments on special teams. Jalen was on 3 of the special teams. And then obviously Darius Kidd being out. Trevante Booker now, the true freshman, who's already played some. That will expedite his work with the D-line. And so he'll start moving down and working with the travel team and will be moved off of the Cajun look team. Other than that, a little banged up, but nothing that should not have time to heal before next Wednesday, which is a plus that we have this 10-day period to get some guys back, to get them healthy, because they'll need it. But this really should suffice to get guys back. We needed this break about this time right now to get some guys healed up. Hopefully this will let Elijah get back to 100%. He just wasn't himself the other night, and we didn't want to ask any more of what we asked of him at that point either. And so, but I think from what everybody says, the trainers, he'll be 100% next Wednesday. So that'll be a plus, having him back full go. And so everybody else should be good to go. But overall, love the effort, love the way they competed, battled to the end, found a way to tie it up, found a way to get to the second overtime. But right now, just the turnovers have been our Achilles heel. If we could fix that, you're looking at a pretty good football team that plays pretty good football out there on the field. So that's the number one thing that we've got to fix. So excited about moving forward. App State coming here on Wednesday night, a week from this Wednesday. They're a good football team. They've got a really tough schedule that they've really endured and played well. And so we're excited about this challenge, playing those guys. They've got a lot of talented players. But we're excited about getting back here at Cajun Field after being on the road the last two games, and excited about this game. We've been looking forward for this one for a while, and looking forward to playing these guys. They're an outstanding program and team, and it should be a great matchup a week from Wednesday. So with that, any questions?
Jennings, early in the season, prided himself, you guys as well, on his decision making. And then the Tulane game obviously was attributed to protection issues. But what changed in terms of the decision making?
That was all just rushing decisions. When you ask him, he took ownership. That's the thing I loved about after the game. He said, "Coach, that's on me." He said, rushed the ball, made 2 poor decisions. And as a quarterback, that's nothing that you don't know. As a quarterback, that's football 101. As a quarterback, you don't throw the ball back across middle when you're scrambling toward the sideline. And but nevertheless, that's something he'll learn from. I think obviously now getting the point, I'm hoping it's going to make a big difference. When he's on, he's really good, and when he doesn't make some decisions, when he made some decisions like the other night, that really hurts his team. But I really think that he's going to play much better. All we ask him to do is, hey, just play within the system, play within what the defense gives you. Don't try to do any more, any less. We've got good players around you, and we always just reminded him we want every series to end with a kick, whether it's a field goal, an extra point, or a punt. If it ends with a kick, then hey, we can live to see another day. But when the series ends with a defensive touchdown, that's how they scored 24. Defense only gave up 17 in regulation. Then you lose momentum, you lose points, all those things. You lose confidence, and so we've got to fix those things. But I think all those things are obviously very correctable if we can just play within the system. But I expect him to come roaring back. Backup quarterback right now will be Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis now will slide up to number 2. Deion Ray will slide up to number 3. Y'all saw we put Deion, had a little small package planned for him a little bit within the running game. He gives our guys fits at practice, and just like I always tell you with the scout guys, we can't block on the scout team or the Cajun look team. Always incorporate them in the game plan. And this week, trying to find a little bit of a spark in certain areas, we looked over that, and I told Coach Munoz we got a guy that's a 10, 500-meter guy sitting right over there, track guy that can really fly. Let's try to incorporate him in the play. We only got him in one time, and we didn't block very good for him on the edge, and that might be something we still are going to incorporate in the future, just with a couple of plays here and there to get him involved, to get him on the field, get a little experience, and to be able to help the team if needed.
With such a long wait in between this game, is one of the major goals just getting everyone back to health, but how do you weigh that with trying to bring back some intensity too?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get the guys healthy that need to get healthy, but we're gonna get the guys work that need to get work too. And but we're not gonna, obviously get them out there and beat them up any more than what they are. But the guys that need the work, we're gonna get the work in. We're gonna try to fine tune some things, and obviously he's gonna give us a little more extra preparation for a very talented App State team will need plenty of preparation for those guys. And so that'll be what this next 10 days is about.
Coach, did y'all game plan last week offensively with a little more availability from Elijah in mind, or was that about what y'all figured you did?
Yeah, you know what? If I had to say, that's about what I figured. And to be honest with you, that might even be a little more than what I thought. I don't know if I expected him to play that much. And at the first of the week, we said, okay, let's game plan to not have him. And then if he's available by then that'll just be icing on the cake. And so that's where the game planning started. And as we got deeper into the week, the trainer said, you know what, we think he's going to be good, going to be okay. And, he just wasn't quite ready. And he was real honest with us, and we didn't want to make him do any more than he felt like he could do. He wanted to play. He wanted to play more than what he did. We just didn't feel like that was the right thing.
How complicated was the game plan not having him? And did that make it much tougher than it had?
Yeah, a little bit, because we had ways. Remember, we've been moving him all over the field. Well, you don't really move those other backs around like you do an Elijah McGuire. Those other guys are more back there with the quarterback type backs. Elijah McGuire's a receiver. He's a slot. He's an H. He's a decoy. He's a deep threat. He's all the above, and we knew that going in that part of it probably wasn't going to be available. So we couldn't waste a lot of reps all week on practice on things that we may not get to in the game. And certainly I'm glad we didn't now, because we didn't really have him that much.
Defensive backs usually don't mention unless they get burned or make a bad play. I'll give you a chance to give Travis Crawford some love, because from all the tape he's been having an incredible season.
He did, but he didn't play the second half. He got a little banged up. He'll be fine. He'll be back next week 100%. But he didn't play the second half. Dom Jones had to come in and play the whole second half. And got to give our defense credit. I don't think we gave up but 3 plays over maybe 15 yards. We kept those guys in front of us all night long. They tried a lot of deep balls. We picked off one of the deep balls, broke on the deep ball well. I'll just, going into that game with as many waggles and boots that they like to throw and do the throwback seam routes and wheel routes, that was always a concern. And see our guys really do a good job playing over the top and getting good pressure. We had 5 sacks again. We lead the conference in sacks now. I think last year at this time we were dead last in sacks in the conference. We went from last to first right away, and it's made a big difference in our defense. And the best pass coverage starts with a good pass rush, and so that's helping our defense too. And so, we're getting better in a lot of areas. We need a little confidence, and we need to put a few more things together, and we're going to be a really good team. He's improved. We played him, if you remember, against Tulane a lot more, because he's a good tackler. And so even though I thought we missed a few the other night, but he's improving. And everybody forgets, because I hyped him up an awful lot, which he's got that type of potential, but he came into the season, hardly ever played a tad as a true freshman, a few snaps. And so he's just getting better right now. He's getting his feet wet. He's getting confidence. And that was great to see him reach out. I don't know how he reached out. He got long arms. He reached out and snagged that ball. What a play by him. So he's getting better, and that's a big plus, because I think we got 3 really good corners with him, Troy and Goodley.
He has some tackling issues. How happy across the board defensively are you just fundamentally with what you're seeing tackling-wise?
Really good. Other night we didn't tackle him back in a couple of times we missed tackles. Dom Jones, guy's playing hard. He's got a club on his hand, and a lot of those are attributed, just can't wrap up. And then sometimes you attribute bad tackling in the secondary to those guys are pretty quick too, and so they're hard to tackle sometimes in open space. But overall, this year we've tackled much better. Missed a few the other night, but as a group and as this year, evolves, we're way ahead tackling right now than where we were.
With regards to App State, just talk about kind of what you're expecting from those guys.
Well, they're an outstanding team, and I sort of attribute, our sort of slide last year to that game when we played them at home 2 years ago. We came into that game, we were rolling, and I think we were pretty hot at the time. And we were up in that game, and we had a turning point in that game, and they really got the momentum and came back and won the game. And I don't know if we really recovered after that game for the rest of that year and the next. And so, and then they have really continued their catapult because they were coming off, I think, a 6-6 season or 5-7 on that year that they beat us. They lost the first 5 in a row that year. They lost their first 5 games. Then they beat us, and they really got hot after that. And then they've remained hot, and they're playing awfully good football. And they've got a lot of tradition there, and they feed off that tradition, and they're doing a really good job. They've got some outstanding backs, a leader at quarterback, and a really good defense that flies around the football. So it'll be a great challenge, a challenge that we're definitely looking forward to. Anytime you play on national TV against a great opponent, that's always something to look forward to. So our kids are ready to get back and get to practice because they know that we're just a play or two away from being 4-1 and probably getting top 25 votes. But the reality of it is we're 2-3, and so we've got to reverse that by taking care of the ball and getting much better.
Time for 2 more questions.
How much of what leaders in Lightfoot are doing are just kind of a function of this
Yeah.
defense? How much of it is the way they're playing? How nice is it to not see a safety be your leading tackle?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Oath had 20 tackles, 17, but I think he had 3 assists. And so, you don't think he had that many? Oh, I think he may have had.
3 solos and about 15 assists.
Oh no, your math's way off. But nevertheless, he had a great game. He had a great game, and you're welcome to come watch our game tape, and I'll bet your lunch tomorrow, and I'm gonna get a steak if you're wrong. All right, there we go. Yeah, the Mexico State stat crew. Now, I don't know about that deal, but nevertheless, they're playing good. But getting back to all kidding aside, the four-man front, anytime you're covered up the front, your linebackers are way more available. If you're an odd front, 3 down, the guards are free releasing right to the backers. They're having to play off blocks, and they're having to play off guys that are 310 pounds every play. And now our front, which we have a pretty active front with DeBoris Lee and some of those guys, and they're doing a pretty good job up front. We got a lot of depth. We're rolling a lot of players on the D-line, a lot of players. And that's allowing us, I think, to get those sacks, to really have the success that we're having, especially in the second half, with the depth that we got. I don't know if a lot of people have the depth that we have on D-line, although we've taken a little hit, obviously with Ladarius Kidd. But it's helped him. Him and Lightfoot are making a lot of plays, and it's allowing Tracy Walker to stay back and direct that defense, and he's done a phenomenal job of keeping everybody in front. And so I hope that we can keep that up, because they're playing pretty good on defense right now.
Is Lamoto not as serious as those other?
We don't think they're going to evaluate him today, but it's definitely not season ending. Well, knock on wood.
Out of curiosity, Coach, if Jalen doesn't get hurt, is there a competition?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Just like with Steve. Steve had a bad day and came right back, and now he's practically almost leading the conference. For what we want to do offensively, Anthony is the guy moving forward. And like I said, Jordan now is going to increase his reps at practice, and that's only going to increase his development moving forward too. And but obviously, got to give a lot of credit to Jalen Nixon coming in, sparking the team, and getting the job done, to say the least.
That game, you seemed like the first time in a few years, you seemed frustrated.
Oh yeah, to say the least. Yeah, just a little bit. And but he would have finished the game out. I can say that if he hadn't got injured, he would have finished the game out. He had deserved that much. We'd have rode him all the way out and then evaluated everything after the week. But yeah, obviously frustrated when you let the second game in a row, and you take a team to overtime, you're in the games. We're not, we're not getting whipped. We're taking teams to overtime. We're overcoming all these dang offensive mistakes and still somehow managing to be in the games and having chances to win the football games, and then we're letting them slip away. So we've got to find ways to win these games and taking care of the ball, winning the turnover battle. If we had been +2 the other night in turnover ratio, we'd have won the football game. But we didn't, and we didn't. And so now we got to go back. But we may simplify a little bit of the passing game too, to take a little bit off of everything for Anthony to make it a little bit simpler, to where maybe it's not too much on him also. So we're looking at all that, all the little possibilities of every little thing that even can help him too, because this is still his first, year in this system also. And so we may simplify a little bit to where it's not so much full field stuff, and where the ball can get out a little quicker also, if needed, and as we're moving forward.
One more that's kind of a two-part question. With such a long period, I know Marcus Cox has been hobbled, but will you prepare for him to play?
Oh yeah.
Even if not, for Jalen Moore, how would you prepare?
Yeah, Marcus Cox is going to play. You count on that. And that guy's a heck of a player. I saw those kids in New Orleans this year. They're some great kids. They're hard workers. You can tell. You tell them guys love the weight room too, and so he'll be ready. I think they've been holding him out a little bit, making sure he's 100%. But we're anticipating seeing him at both the backs, and they're both outstanding. They don't miss a beat when either one is out of the game. They sort of got that look of when we used to have Alonzo and Eli, and you just choose your poison, and that's the way they are. And it's just which one is going to be in the game. So you better be ready for both.
Okay.
All right.
Very good.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Go Cajuns.